CinemaCon wrapped and everything is getting a reboot. Find out which part of your childhood is in jeopardy today on Nerd Culture News, where I bring you facts about fiction. You remember Tiny Toon Adventures? Well, apparently that's the next animated series that's getting a reboot. This reboot is being called Tiny Toons Looniversity and is going to be coming out this fall on Cartoon Network and Max, which used to be called HBO Max. This looks like they're going right along with what the series originally was. It's not that huge of a change in animation, just an update in technology of what we use today. And it doesn't look like they're trying to make any big statements or anything like that. They're just literally going and taking Tiny Toons Adventure, making it primarily at a school setting, which they already did in the first series anyway, and giving us what we already enjoyed. I mean, I'm thinking this might be really good, much like the Animaniacs reboot that was over on Hulu. I really enjoyed that as well. You didn't watch Tiny Toon Adventures when you were growing up like I did. Basically, the premise is this is the next generation of Looney Tunes characters, but you still get the old Looney Tunes characters coming in as like teachers and, parents and things like that. So if you were a fan of the original Looney Tunes, you would probably also enjoy this one because you get a lot of really fun cameos that go along with this. Looking forward to this fall where we get to see Buster and Babs come back to TV because they were a really fun part of my childhood, so this should be a really fun reboot to see. Warner Brothers and Cartoon Network aren't only settling for Tiny Toons Adventures for getting a reboot, we're also getting a new season of Totally Spies as a continuation right off, making this, I believe, the 7th season of that show. Totally Spies was an animated series while I was growing up that was on Cartoon Network, which a lot of people would have referred to as not Kim Possible. It was still an enjoyable show. You had a little more variation with 3 different girls that were spies, and one of the things that I did actually like about it is they put a very big effort into making sure that the girls had a lot of different outfits, because anyone that's been a fan of animation for any amount of time will know, usually you get maybe 1 or 2 outfits, and that's what you're stuck with 90% of the time. Now, with this coming to Cartoon Network, I can only imagine that it's also going to be over on Max, so if this is the type of thing that you enjoyed growing up watching, maybe it's something that you can show your kids now, because I personally don't see myself going back to watching this, but I also don't have kids to show this to and watch with, so it's just really not something that grabbed me, but I do see the appeal for a lot of people, especially for people that grew up with it. Were you a Totally Spies fan, or are you kind of like me that just seen it as not Kim Possible? Let me know in the comments. Warner Brothers had its CinemaCon presentation that gave us amazing things like the Flash trailer, which I already reviewed on this channel, but it also had 2 movies that were being shown that really made me think that this is the year of Timothée Chalamet. They previewed the new Wonka movie that's coming out, where Timothée Chalamet will be playing a younger version of Willy Wonka. And one of the things that I really like about this is he specifically says that this is more of a prequel to the Gene Wilder version of it, as opposed to the Johnny Depp version. No offense to the Johnny Depp version, but it was just a very Tim Burton amalgamation of what he would see Willy Wonka as, and I've always seen the Gene Wilder version as more of the definitive version of the Charlie and the Chocolate Factory and Willy Wonka movie. I don't think that they are actually saying that this is going to be a direct connection to the Gene Wilder Willy Wonka movie. I think more along the lines that they're saying that that's more of the tone that they are aiming for. But that's not the only thing we got from old Chalamet. No, we are also getting Dune 2, and they even put out a little trailer for it. I am one of the people that think that Dune was horribly robbed by Warner Brothers by putting it day and day up on HBO Max. That movie was a theatrical movie through and through, and it makes me so happy to see all of these companies that were at CinemaCon making pledges saying that they are putting a heavier focus on trying to put movies in the theaters before they go to the streaming services, because it is a fact that it actually benefits the streaming services far more if a movie has a theatrical run, because that does build a lot of momentum for when it does go to the streaming services, that people are more likely to not only want those streaming services, but they'll pay just to watch those movies if you have consecutive ones that were in theaters. It looks like it is the year of Timothy, and both of his movies are going to the theaters, thankfully, because these are 2 ones that I need to see on the big screen. Disney gave us a trailer for its new animated movie Wish, and I have to say, wow, the animation in this movie looks phenomenal. I'll admit, I didn't even notice the music as much because I was just so drawn in by the way that they're using like just the textures on these 3D models to make it feel so much more like almost like watercolors. It feels like made by hand paintings almost. You don't see things like this too often with Disney where they're changing up the animation style for these 3D animated movies. Even though there are differences, you can still look at Moana and Tangled and Frozen and tell that all of these characters are pretty much made by the same studio. So seeing that they still kept a lot of the similar framing of the types of models that they use, but they're using a completely different style of texturing and coloring them makes me so happy to see like how this is going to be used artistically. It looks like it's a cute movie. It's about how the star that everyone wished upon came to be. This is based in a fictional land. This is not like a lot of the other Disney movies that we've been getting as of late that is focused on a specific culture. That does make me a little bit sad because I do love the exploration that we have been getting into different cultures, especially with things like Encanto that was just so amazingly beautiful. But I do like this movie for one very, very big reason above everything else that I have mentioned.
We get a real villain this time.
No offense to all of these other like Disney pseudo princess movies that they've been doing like Moana and Encanto, but we haven't had a real villain in a hot minute. We didn't get a real villain in Frozen. That dude was just thrown in last minute. Let's be real. I miss old school Disney. Where's my Ursulas? Where's my Hades? Where is my Jafars? I get it. I also enjoy the way that Disney has been exploring different forms of storytelling that doesn't have to revolve around beating some villain. But it doesn't mean that it has to go away forever. We can have something fun with a villain like we used to. We need our villain songs. Like the last one I really felt that we had in these types of movies was Entangled. And it was such a good villain in that one too. Why did we have to stop? Let's make this one awesome. I am very excited for this movie. I am a huge fan of the Disney movies, but I do think that this one is going to give us a little sprinkle of something different than what we have been having as of late. So did you watch the trailer? Are you excited for Wish? Obviously I'm excited for Wish. Let's get us another Disney movie. At least do like 1 or 2 songs that I'm going to be singing around the house a whole lot while I'm cleaning. Thank you for watching another episode of Nerd Culture News. If you like this video, thumbs up are always appreciated. Thumbs down, they're okay too, because you know it still goes with my algorithm that says people are watching. And if you did enjoy this video, also comment and tell me what you're looking forward to. And as always, subscribe. We need those numbers up, and have yourself a beautiful day.